This segment of HFD Pride, Service, and Dedication is brought to you by the employees of Commercial Plumbing.
Welcome back to HFD Pride, Service, and Dedication.
It happened on a bright sunny afternoon in Honolulu. It looked like any beautiful trade wind day.
Some called it Honolulu's worst fire. To those that lived in the Marco Polo, they called it a nightmare.
Fire dispatch, that's Trevor speaking.
Fire at Marco Polo.
Fire department.
Yeah, I'm trapped in my apartment. My apartment's full of smoke.
On July 14, 2017, a surreal sight at this landmark condominium on Kapiolani Boulevard, the Marco Polo. It was a firefighter's worst nightmare. The fire devoured parts of the top floors, belching out thick black smoke. On that day, HFD bravely put their own lives on the line. 4 residents died, but the firefighters saved the lives of so many others.
So that was a fire that I was at, and we had to send in 130 firefighters, and the firefight was like 10 to 12 hours of firefighting.
A lot of stuff doesn't really get seen on the TV and newspapers and stuff like that, but some of these guys, they sacrifice everything just to put out that fire. It's just the type of people that the fire department has. Yeah, they're hard workers, man.
And it was a fire that started small. I got a call earlier in the afternoon saying there's a fire, they're fighting it. And then I had a call from Chief Nevis, said this fire is huge. I want to let you know. I got in the car, drove down there, stood next to him and watched. In horror, as you know, debris fell out of the windows of these apartments, as glass crashed down below. They were in the hallway, and they said it was like a blowtorch, and they were holding the hoses trying to put out the fire. Their equipment was warming. I heard some of the plastic melted. They didn't stop. They controlled it, they fought it, and they got it put out. This is an example of what firefighters do. You know, you and I get a choice. If we don't want to do something in our job, maybe we don't have to. They're trained to go first, to put their lives on the line for others. That's the most noble profession I think you could find.
HFD can't stress enough the importance of fire prevention. Keep in mind, many of the fires are caused by unattended cooking or even candles left unattended.
You know, you really shouldn't have any kind of open flame kind of a stuff like candles, that kind of stuff. You know, you want to kind of keep away from that, but it's a lot of common sense. If you take time to read the manufacturer's specific safety recommendations, can save you years of heartache, lives lost.
They also recommend you have smoke alarms, one on every level of your home, including inside your bedrooms, and test those alarms every month. You should also place a fire extinguisher within reach on every level of your home, including in the kitchen and close to exits. Plus, make sure you practice evacuation drills with your family.
As a contractor, the fire department has given us a lot of life safety support, plan review, and inspections that have really helped improve the industry and create a safer Hawaii.
Fighting fires is just a small part of what HFD does. Most of the time, they're co-responding with emergency medical services to medical emergencies. The majority of firefighters are trained EMTs.
In an average year, I think we do 55,000 calls. And out of those 55,000 calls, almost 40,000 of them are medical in nature. So 70 to 75% of our calls are actually medicals. We talk about our priorities in the fire service, and we use the acronym LIP, Life Safety, Incident Stabilization, Property Conservation. The first one, life safety, tells you right there what our priority is. It's about taking care of people, right? Obviously, dealing with property and putting out fires is very, very important. I mean, it says fire across our shirt, but when we get there, our first priority is always to find out what's going on with a person and do they need medical care, and provide that assessment and whatever treatment is necessary. Almost 30,000 times a year, we're on scene of a medical call before you'll see an ambulance. And that's just because of the number of fire companies that are available. But definitely medical is a huge portion of what we do, and we train very hard to be good at it.
They also have 2 rescue squads made up of 15 firefighters each.
We respond to any and all technical rescue incidents on the island and up to 3 miles offshore. So that includes high-angle rope rescues, confined space rescues, trench, structural collapses, public safety diving. We work with our Air One helicopter quite a bit, and we each have a rescue boat that we bring with us to our alarms.
They're called out to help find lost hikers and rescue injured hikers as well.
We train every month with Air One. We do rappels, belays. We do our Billy P work in the ocean. We do mountain insertions. We work with a helicopter pilot. We definitely train a lot just to build up that trust and that confidence within each other, within the team and the pilot.
The men and women that go out every day to save lives, they're going to someone's home, if someone had a heart attack and helping them. They're going into the water, along with our ocean safety folks, to save people maybe drowning. They're going into house fires, high-rise fires, and they're doing things like just helping someone whose pet, a cat, climbed the tree or got on the roof, and everything else in between, but they're doing it every day, 24/7.
The ability to be ready to fight fires and save lives comes from a constant schedule of practice and recertification tests.
That's right, Kimo. It's like my mother would say, practice makes perfect. And boy, does our community appreciate that.
When we come back, we'll take a look at the history of HFD, the oldest fire department west of the Mississippi. That's next on HFD Pride Service.